I, alongside many people, had no idea how much I could control the way that I looked. And no, I'm not talking about changing my body by going to the gym or just upgrading my style. I'm talking about how I literally changed certain features on my face in a way that people started considering me attractive. And no, I don't even claim to be the most attractive person. What I do claim is that I look significantly better than when I was younger, and it has completely affected my life when it comes to the amount of money that I make and also my attraction with girls. Today, you will learn how to get the results that I've seen, but for yourself. Starting with chapter 1, the food that you eat. One of the largest problems in the world, specifically America, is obesity. And I believe these habits truly start from a young age. When you're young, you truthfully do not know right from wrong, and you completely rely on your parents to determine your eating habits. The biggest issue is that most people, including your parents and yourself, are uneducated on nutrition, which, by the way, plays a massive factor in the way you look and obviously your health. Firstly, I recommend going deeper into the education of nutrition because this will play one of the biggest roles throughout your entire life. That being said, I'm going to give you a quick rundown because it's actually a lot easier than most people make it out to be. The first and most important thing for maintaining a healthy diet is eating whole foods. The most important thing when it comes to eating a diet that makes you look good is consuming very few calories. Putting these two things together will put you ahead of most of the population. And in my opinion, there's only 3 rules that you need to follow in order to achieve an optimal diet. The first one is, like I said, eating whole foods, which includes things like chicken, steak, any sort of meat. Secondly, vegetables, and thirdly, fruit. It is that simple. The second rule that I have is waiting until you're hungry to eat and eating until you're full. And there are a couple exceptions to this rule. If you're overweight and you need to lose it, you can eat less than when you're hungry. And if you're really skinny and need to gain weight, you can eat more food in order to put on that mass. But if you're an average weight person, you need to stick by this rule. The third rule to stick by is knowing the number of calories that you consume. Knowing your calorie intake is the key to losing and gaining weight. So you do not want to be shooting in the dark when it comes to that. The more you know, the better. And that's going to lead me into chapter 2, developing long-term habits. Messing up this part could ruin everything else, making it the most important step. To start, it wouldn't even be a bad idea to get out a pen and paper and write down these good habits that I'm about to list, so that way you don't forget. The first good habit that's extremely important is going to be practicing proper posture. I'm not talking about standing up straight, even though that is included. I'm talking about proper back, neck, and mouth posture. This will optimize your growth, especially in your teenage years. The young part of your life is the most developmental stage, so this is where you're most likely to make the biggest changes and actually keep them long term. You want to keep your back straight as much as possible, and most people know this. This is the regular posture that people talk about. Secondly, we move up to your neck posture. A lot of people struggle with their neck posture and don't even realize. Due to long periods of time spent on mobile devices, humans have developed something that we call nerd neck, also known as forward head posture. This causes a lot of issues. In order to fix this, there's a few exercises you can do. The first one is called chin tucks. You take your hands, lock your fingers together, and put it behind your head. After this, obviously, you then tuck your chin as hard as you can. This is basically pushing back against the horrible posture that your neck has developed. The second exercise actually isn't an exercise at all. It's actually just decreasing the number of pillows that you use to go to sleep at night. When you think about it, if you're sleeping with 2 or 3 pillows under your head, your neck is being pushed forward. What you want to do is start sleeping on your back, decreasing the number of pillows that you use, trying to get to 1 or 0 pillows. This will force your neck to be straight when you sleep. Then finally, we move up to the mouth. Proper mouth posture, also known as mewing, can dramatically change the growth of your facial structure. In order to mew properly, you place your tongue at the roof of your mouth and breathe through your nose. And although mewing itself hasn't been scientifically proven to change the structure of your face, breathing through your nose has. Mewing is just a side benefit that makes your jaw look better in the moment, so there's no loss in doing it. Another way to ensure proper mouth posture is to tape your mouth when you sleep. You can easily find any brand of mouth tape on Amazon. Now, in the beginning of this video, you might remember that I mentioned I wasn't going to talk about my body. That being said, going to the gym doesn't only affect your body, but your face as well. Lifting weights practically increases your testosterone, and if you didn't know this already, having higher testosterone causes your face to slim out even more, and potentially even give you a more masculine facial structure by increasing your bone density. Especially when you're young and your testosterone is growing rapidly, this is when it's important to start going to the gym to maximize that growth. That being said, it takes a lot of time to see results, but so does the third habit that you need to develop. This habit is getting proper sleep. Getting proper sleep will maximize your hormones, specifically the one I mentioned previously, testosterone. By getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep at night, you will get the maximum benefit out of your growth of testosterone. Not only that, but when you are asleep, a hormone is released called HGH, human growth hormone, which helps with muscle gain as well as making you tall. Alongside this, if you're a young teenager, this will maximize your growth. Sleep is easily one of the most important things as you're growing. Chapter 3, your genetics. Easily the most important chapter of this video and the part that's going to hurt the most feelings. Your genetics play the biggest role in the way that you look. This is what causes your insecurities, your downfalls, your limitations, all the things that are holding you back. But there is a bright side. Your genetics also highlight your strong suits, parts about you specifically that make you unique. At the end of the day, there is no light without dark. If everyone looked perfect, it would no longer be a special thing and it would no longer be admired. And there's a few ways to do this. Starting off by studying your parents. parents. I know everyone doesn't have this option, but the majority of people do. When looking at older pictures of your parents, you'll find that you actually share a lot of different traits. At least that's the majority of people. Now the question is, what can you find from looking at your parents? Well, firstly, when looking at your mom's dad, you can figure out if you're gonna go bald. If your mom's dad is bald, that actually gives you a high chance of also losing your hair. As someone who struggles with this issue personally, I was able to combat this hair loss, and I'm gonna make a whole separate video on that. And once again, combating something like hair loss is something where you need to act at a young age, because as soon as a hair follicle dies, it's gone. You actually cannot ever get that back. That being said, you absolutely need to know certain things about your genetics. Because I found out that I would be prone to balding, I was able to save myself before the damage was ever even done. Another really important thing that correlates with your parents is the growth and development of your facial structure. Going from a preteen to a teenager to an adult, you actually experience some massive changes in your face, and these changes can be the determining factor of whether or not you're gonna have a glow up or a glow down. A perfect example of this is your face getting exponentially wider. Typically, this is not a good thing and could cause a quote-unquote glow down. So if you can find a picture, for example, of your father when he was a teenager versus when he is an adult, you can actually predict whether your face is going to grow exponentially or stay the same. Another good thing to look at is something like your vascularity, the amount of veins in your arms. The whole reason I bring that up is because a lot of your genetic uprises and downfalls are going to have a lot to do with your parents. And by studying that, it can actually kill your anxiety by knowing exactly what to expect, which in my opinion can help a lot. Chapter 4, reaping the benefits. For me, like I said, I used to be really ugly. That's at least what I thought of myself. And when I changed the way I look for the better, I noticed a complete life change. For starters, let's talk about the halo effect. The halo effect is a scientifically proven thing that happens when you become more attractive. People treat you better, you make better opportunities, you literally start experiencing things that you never did before. And I'll use myself as an example. If you didn't know this already, I have a perm. But before I had a perm, my hair was really straight and didn't look good. Now, even though I know a lot about hair care, so much that I even own a brand called Clean Cut Cosmetics that is surrounded around hair care, people didn't believe anything I said about hair until I got my perm, because it simply didn't look good. Now, can I blame the people? Of course not. But if I ever made videos about hair, they never did well because my hair simply didn't look good. That's one example of a halo effect, but there's an even crazier side to this. Obviously, when I got my perm, people started listening to what I would say about hair because my hair actually started looking good. But what's even more important is improving your face, because get this, when your face looks good, almost everything you say is taken seriously. Obviously, if you sound dumb, that's not the case, but if you take someone who's ugly and take someone who's attractive and put them in the same room, and they were to tell you the same things, you are more likely to believe the person that simply looks better. This is what I based my entire personal brand off of, and why I have over 1 million followers on TikTok now. The main thing I talk about is how to improve your looks and also self-improvement in general. But if I right now looked like I did a few years ago, nobody would listen to me. Looking better has literally given me a job. Honestly, I recommend watching my video about how I made $100,000 at 18, where I go in depth about how looking good literally gave me a career. That being said, I think you get the point. And also by now, I think you should understand that you're missing out if you don't follow me. I try to help you self-improve. I help you look better. And from personal experience, I can tell you that using tips like this changed my life. And I truly believe it could do the same for all of you watching this right now. So go watch some of my other videos so you can continue to learn and improve. Now, I think it's pretty apparent how important it is to improve your face. This is only the beginning, and I cannot wait to see how far you guys take your self-improvement journey. So I recommend watching this video where I go in depth about that.